Welcome to A1R Psychic Radio here on Moonstruck TV with Amanda Hall, Psychic, all the way from the Gold Coast. Well, I'm happy to report here, even though we've had a few storms, we're quite safe here and nothing much is happening. But we can't say the same for our dear family and friends in Florida. They must be going through a really tumultuous time now as they wait for that hurricane to sort of bear down on them. I can only begin to imagine, the fear, the terror, the everything else, the mixed emotions, trying to get out, trying to save as much of your personal important things as you possibly can as you flee your home and not knowing what's ahead. So we send our prayers and our love and wrap our arms around them and hope that everybody's going to be safe during this terrible time and this storm that's impending that, could strike at any time now in Florida. So our hearts and our thoughts and everything do go out to you. So this week, the Simply Tarot card of the week is a really lovely card, and it's called the Nine of Pentacles. It's peace of mind and contentment. I wish we could send this card to Florida right now to all our family and friends there. But it's a card of where when you've done a lot of work and you've done a lot of work on yourself, or you've been working really hard on situations in your life, this is a really beautiful card to come out because it says finally we've got peace of mind, we've got contentment. We can start to breathe a little bit easier. We can sigh an exhale and just sort of say, oh, wow, we made that. And that's really important because sometimes I think in our lives we get so overwhelmed with things that we don't realise that we need to take stock and take time to sort of really say to ourselves, look, we made it, we did it. Congratulate yourself, give yourself a pat on the back, a packet of gold stars, whatever it takes, and just sort of savour the moment because there's not too many times in our busy lives that we can turn around and take a breather and say we finally have peace and contentment and that, this is peace of mind is worth more than all the money in the world. If you can have peace of mind, you've got everything along with your good health. So let's hope that this card brings, peace and contentment to those that are fighting weather events around the world and for those people that are in the war zone areas also as well. We hope they find peace and contentment. So it's really interesting astrologically this week. I haven't seen it for such a long time now where the planets were all sort of scattered all over the chart. It was wonderful to see, instead of them all bunched up together and sort of all holding hands together, to see them out, playing in the astrology world on their own and having a little bit of freedom, which is nice. It's a very, very good thing. So we're going to start with the Libran energy this week. Happy birthday to all the Librans around the world. I know that they're enjoying party mode and it's a very important time of the year if it's your birthday because it's the time for you to shine. It's time for you to turn around and say, well, I made another year and I'll blow out my candles and make my wishes for the coming 12 months. And that's a really positive time. For the rest of the 11 signs, Libran time of the year is a time where we can all get in touch with our inner truth. It's a time where we need to balance the scales in our lives, look at things that are going on and ask ourselves, have I got to the truth? Have I got to the balance? Have I got to the reason behind things that are happening in my lives now? So that we can sort of move forward as we move, through the zodiac year, that we can move forward and take the lessons with us that we've learnt during this time. Now, we have Jupiter, the planet of luck and opportunity, is sitting in Gemini at the moment. So it's going to be affecting the air signs, which is Gemini, Aquarius and Libra, the opposite sign of Sagittarius. Now, Jupiter is making what's known as a trine, which is a very lovely flowing aspect at the moment to Mercury in Libra. And when Mercury's sitting in Libra, it means we really need to dig deep, all 12 signs do, to find the truth, to find the balance in what we're searching for in our lives at the moment. And I've already just touched on that. It's a time to sort of really look, are we bringing our lives into balance? Have we communicated? Have we been fair to other people? Is there things there that we need to resolve? So with Jupiter sitting here and making this beautiful trine, which is a flowing aspect to Mercury in Libra, it means all the 12 signs have the opportunity to maybe broaden their horizons on a communication level. It's not the time to go in there all guns blazing. Go in there with a bit of sweetness and light, and maybe you might be very pleasantly surprised with how well the negotiations or the communication goes because you haven't gone in there in an aggressive manner. You've gone in there on a nice, friendly, gentle sort of manner, and it, if you're going for a bank loan or sort of needing to renegotiate a contract or, doing something legal, this is the perfect aspect no matter what your star sign is. If you go in with the right attitude, don't go in with guns all a-blazing. So it's really also interesting at the moment for those that are seeking love. it's always a difficult sort of time in your life when you feel ready for a new relationship and one's not necessarily springing forward. Well, the planet of love and affection, Venus, is actually sitting in Scorpio at the moment. Now, the Scorpio energy is known as the lovers of the zodiac. People sort of affectionately say, if you want a good lover, find a Scorpio. I don't know that that's necessarily true. I think any sign can be a wonderful lover. It's depending on what you're looking for or the love that you're looking for in your life. But Venus is certainly sitting in Scorpio at the moment. So if you were to attract new love at this time, I feel it would be somebody that could be quite intense, somebody that has very deep emotions. Maybe they have some issues that they need to sort out or resolve around themselves or matters of the heart. So take that into consideration too. It's always nice to have somebody that's, deeply emotional, but sometimes with deep emotions comes baggage as well. So you need to be prepared for the whole package. I'm not trying to turn you off falling in love with a Scorpio, and I'm not sort of trying to turn you off going out there and seeking love. What I'm suggesting to you is make sure that you've got your eyes wide open. You may at this time attract somebody that's a little bit more serious or a little bit more intense, or sometimes has deeper emotions than maybe what you're ready to deal with. So just be a little bit aware of that, please. Now, I'm going to work with Chiron. Now, Chiron's not actually a planet. Chiron's where we look for the wounded healer in our chart, and Chiron is currently sitting in Aries. It will be there, and it's going retrograde or backwards until the end of the year. Now, retrograde or backwards means that the energy is sort of not so much in your face, but it's more subtle, it's more hidden, it's more intense. It's something that where we need to go inside ourselves and ask ourselves the answers. Now, this is directly affecting Aries. It is also affecting the other fire signs, which is Leo, Sagittarius, and the opposite sign of Libra. It will wash over the other remaining signs, but not be quite as intense. Now, the intensity really is for Aries. It's asking Aries to sort of really reevaluate their lives. It's not the time to sit on the fence. The fence is going to become too prickly. You can't sit there. You've got to make some decisive decisions. Now, I know a lot of Aries people, and a lot of them have been saying, oh, 1 minute I think this way, and the next minute I think that way, and I can't really make up my mind, and it's not like me. I'm usually very decisive. Well, this is why, because Chiron is there, and it's stirring everything up. It's stirring everything up from the past. It's asking you to look at things. It's asking you to let go of any anger that you might have, or frustration, or things that didn't work out the way that you wanted them to in your past. Not everything in our lives goes the way that we want it to. So this is a message for all the 12 signs. If there's anything from your past that you need to let go, work through it, let go of it in the best way that you can. Don't hold grudges. Don't hold things within inside you, because that festers and it creates dis-ease in the body if we have frustration that we're sort of locking away. I'm not saying every illness, every twinge, every aches and pains that you get is because of a blocked energy or something you haven't processed. I think that would be ridiculous to think that way. And I know a lot of people do, and that's fine. If that's your belief system, that's great. It's not mine, because I think you have to take in other factors as well. Not everything is a blocked energy in your body because you've got a pimple, or you've got an arm ache, or you've got arthritis. Sometimes it can be a genetic thing. It goes in, runs in families. Different diseases run in families genetically. You have to bring that into the equation as well. But on a psychic sort of level or an emotional level, yes, it is the best thing to do is to try and process any anger, frustrations that we all experience from time to time in our lives, so that we're not compounding what may already be there or may be there genetically. We give it a fair shot to sort of not take hold of us in the way that maybe it's done for other members in the family. So it's really, really important, if you're an Aries, start to take notice of your dreams, listen to your thoughts. Don't be so me first and dogmatic that, you're so stubborn that you're getting in your own road. And I know a lot of Aries people, and they would be laughing right now when I say, you've got a flip-top head, let the anger out. Don't store it inside. And make decisions that are the right thing. Just because it might have been right a month ago, you have the right to turn around and change your mind and say, I need to make a different course now for where I need to be going. And maybe they need to clear their throat along the way and say, oh, well, that was last week's dream. Today I've got a different dream. While we're still on the subject of Aries, we have what's known as the North and South Node. Now, these are also not planets in the chart. The South Node is showing us where we're coming from. Now, the South Node is currently sitting in Libra, so this is where we've all come from, regardless of your sign. It's like it's asking us to balance the scales of our past. Now, sometimes our past sort of comes back to bite us again, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes we just learn from that and we grow from that, and we're sort of aspiring to move forward. So we're trying to achieve moving forward to the North Node in Aries. So again, this Aries sort of energy, it's like learn from your past, let's move forward, let's move towards the future, but let's move towards the future with a new set of eyes that we've reevaluated everything that's going on in our lives. We've got a game plan. We know where we're going. We're not stubbornly hanging on to the past, or we're not stubbornly hanging on to what might have been a dream that's now outdated, and we now need to replace it with a new dream. Now, this applies to all the 12 signs. Obviously, of course, it's going to be affecting the fire signs and the air signs the most, but it is washing over the earth signs and the water signs. So be aware of that. There may be dreams or plans that you had worked out for this year that have gone by the wayside or been modified or changed or replaced with something else, and you think, how did that happen? Oh, well, just go with the flow. Don't sort of try and hold anything back at the moment. Just go with the flow and ask yourself, what is it that I need to do moving forward? And make sure that you're honouring yourself as well as those people that are the closest to you, that you truly care about and are important in your life. But it's a time where we all have to be a little bit self-centered and put ourselves first. Then we can put ourselves in someone else's position. Once we've started to look at that and look at what is actually sort of happening there, we can do that comfortably because we've dealt with our own emotions, our own needs first. Then I can then put myself in your shoes and help you get on your path, or we can collectively do it together. Now, Chiron will be there till the end of the year going retrograde. So, we've got a little bit of time up our sleeves, but, with the North and South nodes, they move fairly quickly. So we need to keep on top of this. We also have Pluto, the planet of transformation. And look, I know I've spoken about Pluto many, many times on this show, but Pluto's nearing the end of being in Capricorn, be there for approximately another 5 weeks. So it's interesting that we're seeing these tremendous weather events again. We're seeing governments around the world go to elections, things like that. Pluto rules transformation. It wants to sort of hit us between the eyes and say, this is the last chance you've got to try and get things right that are on an official level, a government level, that, climate change, things like that. I know we can't fix climate change in 5 minutes, but we can certainly start to acknowledge it and understand it and look at it and stop being so silly and saying, oh, well, these things just happen. Once in 100-year hurricanes that are heading towards Florida don't happen every week, but they are happening more frequently. And we need to understand this, that this is driven from the things that we're doing on the planet. And each and every one of us can contribute even just a little bit to helping with climate change. If you've got things in your life that are an official nature, now's the time to try and get them sorted out and wrapped up if you possibly can before the middle of November. That may be an impossible task, but at least if you've got the momentum going, you've commenced it, you've got a chance of it being sorted out or on the right track while Pluto is in Capricorn, before Pluto moves into Aquarius for its long journey there, because we really don't know how Pluto is going to behave in Aquarius other than it's going to be different. It's going to, Pluto's going to ask us to think outside the square. There's going to be some radical new ways of dealing with things. Well, let's get this wrapped up in Capricorn first, where we understand the energy. We've been working with it for a very long time now. So let's sort of understand it and give Pluto the final send-off in Capricorn that he deserves. So the final 2 planets that I want to talk about is Saturn and Neptune. They're both in Pisces. They will be there till also about the middle of November too. There's going to be a really big planetary shift of energy come, that 3rd week in November. And, with it being in Pisces, yes, it's affecting the water signs, which are Scorpio, Cancer, and the opposite sign of Virgo. But it's asking us to be disciplined in the areas for every sign for our creative thinking, for things that we want to bring into our lives, the projects that we've been working on. Give it one final push. If you've been really struggling to get the momentum up, now's the time. Give it a final push. Get it across the line. If you haven't started yet, then get up off the couch and make it happen, because we don't want to waste these wonderful energies where we've got the power of the discipline there in the creative sector, and we also have, very strong creativity. In 5 weeks' time, that'll all disappear and move into another energy, and we won't see that for a long time. So let's use the creativity that we can now. We're going to take our first caller, which is Kay in Houston in Texas. Are you there, Kay? Hello, Kay.
Yes, ma'am.
You have a question I can answer for you, please, Kay?
I'm sorry, what?
Do you have a question I can answer for you, Kay?
Well, I'm just kind of wondering about my financial situation and living situation,
Okay, Kay.
how that's going to go in the near future.
Okay, I mean, that's a very important question, Kay, and a lot of people are asking that at the moment because everything's sort of so expensive, isn't it, and seemingly going out of control. We're taking it back to you personally, Kay. What they're showing me is this year has been a little bit of a stop-start year. You know, you get a bit of traction and then you fall back again and then we get it going again and then we sort of, it isn't as if we've had a clear run to be able to say, yes, right, I feel now I'm getting traction and I'm moving forward consistently. Look, I think what you need to do is accept that that's probably the way the rest of this year will be. When we get into 2025, things become a lot clearer. Now, look, I'm not saying that you've done the wrong thing or you haven't done the right thing. I believe you have done the right thing. But what I'm saying to you is that I think by these, 3 steps forward, 2 back, 2 forward, 1 back, it's been an opportunity, I think, for you to keep reassessing as you've gone along. Making sure that, you're stretching your money as far as you can. Is there anything else that I can do to save money, do it differently, whatever? So you've sort of got that sort of, to me, almost as perfect as it possibly can be. We've now just got to keep putting it into practice. And it's hard because, we're coming up to the expensive time of the year. But I know that you're doing well. And I'm also going to say to you, 2025 is going to see an easing of a lot of things. It's sort of like, not so much as there extra money coming in, but maybe there's some things coming to a close that we can put some of that money onto something else that you really sort of start to feel as if you're making traction again. It's interesting, though, they were showing me an opportunity here to earn some extra money. So is there something else that you've been toying with, maybe doing after hours that could bring in a few extra dollars?
Yes, like a secondary job.
Yeah, like a secondary job or a side hustle, or as people call it these days. But there's an opportunity there for you to make money in something that I think gives you pleasure. It's sort of like, it's not like a chore. Sometimes our day job is like a chore because we've got to go to work to pay the bills, to keep the food on the table and keep everything running. Where sometimes, our passion projects that we do because we love them, and yes, it's great to get paid to do it, but it's sort of like it makes your heart feel full at the same time. It's not just the money. So whatever that is, I'd like to see you sort of try and bring that forward because I feel that will help with the financial situation. But certainly 2025 is going to be a much easier year for you, Kay, in the financial department, and you're feeling back in control again, which is good. So I hope that's helped you. We're going to talk with Doug now in Wildwood, Alberta in Canada. What a nice sounding place. Doug, how are you?
Hello, hi. Doing good, thank you.
Do you have a question I can answer for you, Doug?
Well, I'm taking my hobby to a career level, and I was wondering if it was wasting my time or just keep it as a hobby.
I don't think you're wasting your time at all. The first thing that they showed me was that this has been something that you've struggled with for quite some time before you've sort of even come to this point where you think you can make a decision about it. I think it's an amazing opportunity to take your hobby into a business. The thing is, do you think you can generate enough income quickly enough? That's my concern. Is there a way that we can still keep the day job but kick off the business at the same time and let it sort of get some traction and build up, and then, maybe the middle of next year give up the day job and just focus completely on the business? Is that possible?
Well, my day job is I got multiple sclerosis and I don't work anymore. So anything I do over and above that is going to be, if I try and get out of it. But right. I live alone and just wondering what the future for that career is, if it is even worth selling art.
Oh, I think it's very much worth doing it. I mean, I'm terribly sorry to hear you've got multiple sclerosis. I have a number of friends that have it, and I know how debilitating that illness is, and nothing's predictable, is it? You can go to bed feeling okay and tomorrow you're having a really rotten day, and you've got to learn to adjust to that. But if you can find a creative outlet that on the days when you're, feeling reasonably normal or, having a good day for you and you can express that, I think that's an amazing thing. I'd be sort of looking at trying to find some ways of selling that art that you're doing. Are you able to sort of create a website or something like that where you might be able to sell it, or, get somebody to help you sort of find an outlet for it? Because I really feel that you've got a lot to say in your art. It's not just painting a picture. There's a hidden message in everything that you do. You're sort of channeling this amazing energy from within. And I think it should be shared. Yeah. And I also sort of would like to see, and this might be taking it a little bit further than what you're thinking, but I'd like to see somebody help you film some of your techniques as sort of something that might be able to be used as inspiration for other people with illnesses, that, just because you've been given an illness, you can create something wonderful out of that too, that, your life's changing for a reason. And, give people some inspiration, some hope that, they can do something too that they might be passionate about. And they might not want to pick up a paintbrush, but, just sometimes that motivation of seeing somebody that talks about it in a very raw and honest way and, sort of says, someday I get out of bed and I can't hold the paintbrush because my hands twitch too much or whatever. You're sharing part of you with them, but you're also sharing with them the inspiration that, just because we've been dealt a bag of lemons, we can make lemonade out of it. We can make something really powerful and beautiful. Your art, to me, from what they showed me psychically, was very powerful. It was sort of, there was a lot of love in it. There was a lot of passion in it. And each time somebody looks at a painting of yours, they get a different message. It's almost like it's giving them an answer to a question. And that's really powerful stuff. I can't paint to save my life. So, I take my hat off to anybody that can be that creative and can put that power into a picture that so many people can see something or get a different message out of. I really wish you well with this, Doug. I know that this is not just going to feed your soul and give you a little bit of extra income. It's going to be something that's going to be very rewarding for you and make you feel like, this is what I should have probably done a long time ago, but you never had the opportunity to do.
Yeah, I never took the time.
No, but you've got time now, haven't you?
Yeah, I got lots of time.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. Your life changed for a reason.
Pardon me?
So let's activate on that. Let's capture that and utilize your time when you feel creative to do something. I just feel that there's so many different directions this could take, but we need to just start. Just do what feels naturally and don't try and force anything. If nothing's coming, then leave it alone. If something comes at 2:00 in the morning and you feel you want to get up and do it, then do it. I just feel you've got to listen to your own creative energy, Doug.
Yeah, right.
But I also sort of felt you were going to get some messages at the same time as you paint, things running through your mind. And can I suggest, you mightn't want to stop and write it down, but you might have your cell phone or something next to you that you can just hit a record button and just voice it onto the phone, that you can go back to it later. Because I think there's some powerful messages that will come through as you're painting. And some of them might be for you, but some of them may be connected with the actual piece of art that you're working on that, you might want to incorporate with it or something. I just feel there's more than just the beautiful painting when it's finished. There's sort of like there's two layers to this. There's the art and then there's the message.
Yeah, right. That's
and I think you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, I feel you know what I'm talking about, Doug, that, the strong messages that you get.
Yeah, for sure. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Good. Okay. Well, that's good because, look, I'm sorry that you've got multiple sclerosis. I wouldn't wish that on anybody. But maybe, just maybe, from a soul point of view, this was meant to be because it's freeing you up to fulfill the creative side of you that probably would never have had a chance until you retired, and then you probably thought, well, I'm too old and too crotchety now to worry about it. But this has given you that opportunity to explore this in a way where you don't feel guilty about it. Like you've got plenty of time on your hands now due to the illness. So why not capitalize on this? Look at it as this is a golden opportunity for you to really, power on. And I think it's really beautiful. Some of the messages that you're going to get are just beyond love stories. They're just beautiful pieces of, I don't even know that I put the word poetry. It's inspiration. The words are very powerful, and you're going to touch people's hearts with not just the beautiful pictures, but the words that accompany it. And it's like, wow, it's like you've given them more than they could pay for in dollars and money. You've given them something that's really touched their soul as well. So I really wish you well with this, Doug. I think you're going to do extremely well with what's happening there. And I can eventually see you being asked to sort of exhibit stuff in a big sort of show. And it's sort of, they will help you, get the paintings there and set it all up and do all those sort of things for you. And it's just, it's an amazing opportunity. There's lots of wonderful things to come your way, Doug. So unfortunately, Doug, that's where we've got to leave it. We've come to the end of the show. It's always interesting when people sort of look at their lives and look at why things happen in your lives, whether it's an illness or, your life takes a different direction for whatever reason. And there's always a reason to it. Sometimes we don't understand what that reason is, but in time we see that it opens doors up, like Doug, to be able to have the time to be able to paint and to follow his passion that he wouldn't have been able to do if he continued in his day job. This week I want to leave you with a very, very, very powerful song. It's a song that dates back to quite a few years ago now, and there was two amazing women that sung this song. My preference is this particular version of the song, and I think it speaks very well to the things that keep the world going around, and that's love. I mean, I know people say money makes the world go round. In my opinion, it's love. If you've got love and you've got your health, you can always sort of juggle the finances around and stretch it some way or another that you can survive. But without love and without your health, you absolutely have nothing. So this week I want to leave you with the most beautiful love song, in my opinion, that's ever been written, and it's called The Power of Love. And the version that I particularly like is Celine Dion. So until next week, enjoy the power of love wherever you are.